In the dusty haze of Forward Operating Base Echo in the rugged hills of Afghanistan, where the sun beat down like an unrelenting enemy and the air hummed with the distant roar of helicopters, Gunnery Sergeant Elena Reyes stood quietly in the shadows of the armory, her calloused hands methodically cleaning her M40A5 sniper rifle, the one that had seen more action than most Marines could dream of, its barrel etched with faint scratches from missions that had saved countless lives. But today she wore no insignia, no rank pins, just faded fatigues that blended her into the background like a ghost from forgotten battles. The young Marines, fresh from boot camp with egos as big as their packs, spotted her and snickered. One of them, Corporal Jenkins, a broad-shouldered kid from Texas with a smirk that could curdle milk, elbowed his buddies and drawled, "Look at that, boys, just another sniper wannabe, probably couldn't hit the broadside of a Humvee from 10 yards, his laughter echoing off the metal walls as the others joined in, mocking her slight frame and the way she handled the weapon with a reverence they mistook for inexperience, one even quipping, "Bet she's here on some diversity quota, SEALs wouldn't touch her with a 10-foot pole," unaware that Elena had been the first female to graduate from the elite Marine Scout Sniper School. Her record of 47 confirmed kills in Iraq still whispered about in classified briefings, but she said nothing, her dark eyes focused on the horizon as if scanning for threats that weren't there yet. Flashbacks flooded her mind as she worked, memories of her childhood in the barrios of San Diego, where her father, a Vietnam vet, taught her to shoot tin cans off fences with an old .22, instilling in her a precision that would later define her career. Then boot camp where drill instructors pushed her harder because she was a woman, screaming that she'd never make it, but she did, rising through the ranks with grit that outshone her male counterparts, deploying to Fallujah where she perched on rooftops for days, eliminating insurgent leaders with shots that echoed like justice, saving platoons from ambushes and earning the nickname Phantom among the grunts who owed her their lives. Back in the present, the mockery escalated when Jenkins challenged her directly, "Hey, lady, why don't you prove it? Take a shot at that target out there, 800 yards, wind's tricky today," his friends howling as she calmly assembled her scope. Not out of anger but to teach a lesson without words, and as she lay prone, adjusting for elevation and Coriolis effect like second nature, the crack of the rifle silenced the group, the bullet piercing the bull's-eye with surgical accuracy, but even then they dismissed it as luck, muttering, "Beginner's fluke, she's still just another sniper." The turning point came that afternoon during the base's weekly briefing in the mess hall, where high brass had gathered for a surprise inspection, including Admiral Marcus Hale, a grizzled SEAL legend with a chest full of medals from operations in Somalia and Bin Laden's takedown, his presence commanding instant respect as he strode in with his entourage, the Marines snapping to attention, but Elena remained seated at a corner table, sipping coffee like any civilian contractor, until Hale's eyes locked on her, recognition flashing across his weathered face from a joint up years ago where she'd covered his team's extraction under heavy fire, taking out 3 hostiles from a mile away in a sandstorm. Without hesitation, the Admiral halted, pivoted sharply, and rendered a crisp salute to her first, his voice booming, "At ease, gentlemen, but show some respect. This is Captain Elena Reyes, the sniper who saved my ass in Kandahar and has more confirmed kills than half this base combined." The room falling into stunned silence as the Marine's jaws dropped, Jenkins turning pale as a ghost, realizing they're just another sniper was a decorated hero who'd turned down promotions to stay in the field, her humility masking a legacy of valor that included the Silver Star and classified missions that altered the course of wars. As the Admiral shook her hand, recounting the story to the assembled troops, flashbacks interwove of Elena's harrowing missions, like the night in Helmand Province where she held off an Taliban advance single-handedly for hours, her spotter wounded beside her, radioing for evac while picking off enemies one by one, or the undercover op in Syria where she infiltrated enemy lines disguised as a local, gathering intel that prevented a major attack on U.S. forces. Her sacrifices including shrapnel scars hidden under her sleeves and nights haunted by the faces of those she'd lost. The Marines, now humbled, approached her one by one with apologies. Jenkins stammering, "Ma'am, I had no idea, thank you for your service," and Elena, ever gracious, nodded with a small smile, saying, "We all start somewhere, just remember, it's not the rank that defines you, it's the resolve," turning the moment into a teachable one about respect, perseverance, and the unseen battles women in the military fight every day. As the sun set over the base, Elena returned to her rifle, the Admiral joining her for a quiet conversation about old times and future threats, the story spreading like wildfire among the troops, inspiring a new generation to look beyond appearances, and in the end, what began as mockery ended in salute, proving that true heroes don't seek the spotlight, they earn it through actions that echo long after the shots fade. Wrapping up this tale of triumph over prejudice in the unforgiving theater of war, a reminder that in the military, as in life, underestimation is the greatest weapon an underdog can wield. In the sweltering heat of the Syrian desert, where mirages danced like deceitful spirits on the horizon and the wind whispered secrets of ancient ruins buried under layers of conflict, Captain Elena Reyes found herself embedded deep in enemy territory, her once familiar M40A5 sniper rifle slung across her back like an old friend, now accompanied by a suppressed Mk18 for close quarters contingencies, her mission classified under layers of red tape that even the Admiral couldn't fully pierce, but it stemmed from that fateful salute back at Fob Echo, where Hale had pulled her aside after the briefing, his gravelly voice low as he confided in her about a high-value target, a rogue warlord named Khalid al-Mansur, whose network of smugglers and extremists threatened to unleash a wave of chemical attacks on Allied forces, and Elena, with her unyielding resolve, had volunteered without hesitation, knowing this op could redefine her legacy or end it in a blaze of forgotten glory, disguised as a nomadic trader in a flowing abaya that concealed her gear and the scars of past battles. She traversed the arid landscape on foot, her boots sinking into sand that burned like coals, evading patrols with the stealth honed from years of being the Phantom, her mind flashing back to the aftermath of the Admiral's visit, where the Marines, now her unlikely admirers, had bombarded her with questions during downtime, Jenkins especially, his arrogance replaced by awe as he asked about her training regime, and she shared tips on breath control and mental fortitude, forging bonds that turned mockery into mentorship. But duty called, pulling her from the base to this god-forsaken outpost near Raqqa, where intelligence pinpointed al-Mansur's compound, a fortified maze of mud brick walls and underground tunnels buzzing with armed guards. As night fell, stars piercing the sky like distant sniper scopes, Elena positioned herself on a rocky outcrop overlooking the site, her spotter this time a drone she controlled via an encrypted tablet, its thermal imaging revealing heat signatures of sentries pacing the perimeter, and she waited, patience her deadliest weapon, recalling her father's lessons in the San Diego heat. The shot isn't about pulling the trigger, Mija, it's about becoming one with the silence, words that echoed as she adjusted for a 1,200-yard shot, wind gusts whipping dust into her eyes, but she blinked it away, her focus laser sharp. The plan unraveled when a stray dog barked, alerting a guard who scanned the darkness with night vision goggles, forcing Elena to improvise, slipping down the slope like a shadow, infiltrating the compound through a drainage grate slick with refuse, her heart pounding not from fear but adrenaline, flashbacks interjecting of Kandahar, where she'd saved Hale's team, the crack of her rifle sinking with explosions in her memory, pushing her forward into the labyrinth where voices in Arabic murmured plans of terror, and she planted trackers on supply crates, gathering intel on weapon caches that included sarin precursors, her comms whispering updates to a distant command center. Tension peaked when Al-Mansur himself appeared, a towering figure with a scarred face and eyes like coals, surrounded by lieutenants in a dimly lit chamber, discussing an imminent strike on a U.S. convoy, and Elena, hidden in the rafters, lined up her shot through a ventilation slit, but hesitation struck not doubt, but calculation, as taking him out prematurely could scatter his network, so she held fire, instead sabotaging their comms array with a silent EMP device, buying time for a Delta Force raid, her escape a harrowing crawl through tunnels collapsing under airstrike warnings, pursued by gunfire that chipped stone inches from her heels. Emerging into the dawn, battered but unbroken, she rendezvoused with Extraction, Hale's voice crackling over the radio. "Phantom, you did it again." Al-Mansur's in custody, network dismantled, praise that meant little compared to the lives saved, but back stateside, debriefings turned to honors, a quiet ceremony where the president pinned a Distinguished Service Cross on her chest. Jenkins and her old squad attending, their salutes crisp with genuine respect, Elena reflecting on the journey from mock just another sniper to legend, yet she turned down desk jobs, opting for training the next generation at Quantico, sharing stories of prejudice overcome and battles won through sheer will, inspiring female recruits who saw in her a mirror of their potential. As years blurred, Elena faced her toughest foe, PTSD's invisible grip, nights haunted by fallen comrades and the moral weight of kills, seeking solace in yoga retreats and veteran groups, where she met a former enemy turned ally, a reformed insurgent sharing tales of mutual humanity, forging unlikely peace. The story culminated in her memoir's release, Shadows of the Scope, topping charts and sparking debates on women in combat, with Hale's foreword saluting her anew, and in a full circle moment, at a Marine gala, young snipers approached her with awe, one whispering, "You're why I joined," proving her impact rippled far beyond the battlefield, a testament to resilience in a world quick to judge but slow to recognize true valor, wrapping the sequel of redemption and relentless pursuit in the endless cycle of duty, where heroes like Elena remind us that the next shot could change everything, but it's the unseen struggles that forge the steel within. In the crisp autumn air of Quantico's training grounds, where dew-kissed grass muffled the thud of boots and the sharp reports of rifles cracked like thunder in the distance, Captain Elena Reyes, now a revered instructor at the Marine Scout Sniper School, stood before a fresh class of recruits, her silhouette etched against the rising sun like a monument to unyielding strength, the weight of her Distinguished Service Cross a subtle reminder beneath her crisp uniform as she scanned the eager faces, men and women alike, who hung on her every word, unaware that this chapter of her life would thrust her into a new battlefield, one of shadows and secrets far from the front lines, sparked by a cryptic message from Admiral Hale, now retired but still pulling strings in the intelligence world, warning of a domestic threat, a rogue ex-SEAL turned mercenary, Victor Kane, plotting to sell classified sniper tech to foreign adversaries, and Elena, with her unmatched expertise, was pulled back into the fray, not as a trigger puller but as a ghost in the machine, tasked with infiltrating Kane's network under the guise of a disillusioned veteran seeking work. Flashbacks wove through her mind as she prepared, memories of her memoir's launch, where crowds cheered and critics debated, but the toll of reliving traumas in print had deepened her PTSD, nights spent wrestling demons in sweat-soaked sheets, yet therapy sessions with a VA counselor named Dr. Mia Torres, a fellow Latina who understood the cultural stigma of vulnerability, had armed her with tools like mindfulness and journaling, turning pain into purpose as she mentored recruits like Private Sofia Ramirez, a Spitfire from the Bronx mirroring Elena's own fire, whom she pushed through grueling drills, teaching not just marksmanship but mental armor against doubt and bias, echoing her father's wisdom, "The real enemy is the one in your head, Mija." The op unfolded in the neon-lit underbelly of Miami, where humid nights cloaked deals in seedy warehouses by the docks, Elena donning civilian clothes, a leather jacket over tactical gear and wired for sound, posing as Lena Vargas, a freelance operator with a fabricated dossier of black ops, her entry point a underground fight club where Kane recruited muscle, and she proved her mettle by disarming a burly thug in a cage match, her Krav Maga skills honed from cross-training with SEALs, earning an invite to his inner circle. Tension mounted as she navigated the web of betrayal. Kane, a charismatic villain with a vendetta against the military that had court-martialed him for war crimes, his plan involving drone-mounted sniper systems that could assassinate from afar without trace, and Elena, during a midnight briefing in a smoke-filled room, glimpsed blueprints that chilled her tech she'd helped develop in classified R&D, prompting a risky hack of his laptop using a thumb drive disguised as a pendant, but discovery loomed when a suspicious lieutenant patted her down, forcing a frantic escape through alleyways, gunfire echoing as she radioed Hale's team for backup, flashbacks surging of serious tunnels, the same pulse-pounding pursuit fueling her evasion tactics. The climax erupted at a derelict shipyard, where Kane unveiled a demo of the weapon, targeting a mock VIP convoy, but Elena, perched in the shadows with her trusted rifle smuggled in parts, disrupted the show with precision shots that shattered the drone mid-flight, sparking chaos as federal agents swarmed in. Kane cornered and captured after a brutal hand-to-hand duel where Elena's resolve outmatched his rage, his final words a sneer, "You're just another sniper playing hero," met with her calm retort, "And you're just another traitor who forgot the oath." Resolution came in the quiet aftermath, Elena debriefing in DC with Hale, who revealed Kane's network tied to her past enemies, closing a loop of vengeance. Honors following with a Presidential Medal of Freedom presented in a private Oval Office ceremony, attended by Sophia and Jenkins, now a sergeant, their pride evident as they saluted, Elena using the spotlight to advocate for veteran mental health, founding the Phantom Foundation to support women in special ops with scholarships and counseling, her personal life blooming as she reconnected with an old flame, a fellow Marine pilot named Alex, their shared scars forging a bond of healing. As seasons turned, Elena faced a final trial testifying before Congress on gender integration in combat roles, her voice steady amid heated debates, drawing from experiences of mockery turned to respect, inspiring policy changes that opened doors for future generations, and in a poignant full circle, at Sophia's graduation as the top sniper in her class, Elena saluted first, whispering, "You're not just another sniper, you're the future," the moment captured in viral videos that amplified her legacy, proving that true valor isn't in the kills but in the lives lifted, wrapping this saga of reinvention and quiet revolution in the enduring fight for equality, where Elena's story reminds us that from the ashes of underestimation rises a force unbreakable, ready for whatever shadows lie ahead. In the golden hues of a Washington, D.C. dawn, where cherry blossoms whispered promises of renewal along the Potomac and the weight of history pressed upon marble monuments, Captain Elena Reyes, now a beacon for change through her Phantom Foundation, stood on the steps of the Capitol, her advocacy for veteran rights earning her a seat on a presidential task force, but shadows from her past resurfaced when an encrypted alert from an old ally in the CIA pinged her secure line, revealing a global conspiracy, a shadowy cabal of arms dealers, led by an enigmatic figure known only as the Broker, funneling advanced sniper drones to terrorist cells across Europe and the Middle East, tech eerily similar to what she'd thwarted in Miami, pulling Elena into a high-stakes game of cat and mouse that spanned continents, her role evolving from operator to strategist as she assembled a cover team of misfits: Sofia Ramirez, now a lethal sniper in her own right, Jenkins as her tactical expert, and Dr. Mia Torres for psychological profiling, blending their skills in a bid to dismantle the network before it ignited World War III. Flashbacks haunted her preparations, memories of Alex's proposal under starlit skies at a Virginia vineyard, their wedding a quiet affair amid friends who'd become family, but duty's call interrupted honeymoon bliss, Alex understanding with a pilot's stoic nod, go save the world again, Phantom, as she boarded a Black Ops flight to Berlin, the city's fog-shrouded streets a labyrinth of espionage where she posed as an arms buyer at underground auctions, her abaya traded for sleek business attire, negotiating with shady contacts while Sophia provided overwatch from a nearby spire, the tension palpable as bids escalated for prototype drones capable of autonomous assassinations. The plot thickened in the underbelly of Istanbul's Grand Bazaar, where spices mingled with the scent of danger, Elena tailing a courier through crowded souks, her team hacking surveillance feeds to track shipments, but betrayal struck when Jenkins was captured during a recon, tortured for intel in a hidden safe house, forcing Elena to mount a daring rescue, rappelling down ancient cistern walls under cover of night, her suppressed pistol whispering death to guards as flashbacks of Hellman's holdouts fueled her fury, freeing Jenkins with a whispered, "We're even now, kid," before they exfiltrated amid explosions that lit the Bosphorus like fireworks. Climax built in the snow-capped Alps of Switzerland, the broker's Alpine fortress a high-tech citadel guarded by mercenaries, Elena leading an assault with precision airstrikes called in by Alex from afar, infiltrating via paraglider descent, her rifle barking in symphony with Sophia's as they neutralized defenses, confronting the broker a disgraced former general she'd crossed paths with in Iraq, his vendetta personal. "You took everything from me, Reyes," met with her steely gaze, "and I'll take your empire," disarming him in a visceral showdown that shattered glass and illusions, the team securing the drone blueprints and arresting the cabal with Interpol's aid. Resolution unfolded in the quiet debriefs back home, Elena's task force lauding her as the linchpin, honors piling with an International Peace Award presented. In Geneva, where she spoke on the human cost of endless wars, her foundation expanding globally with chapters in war-torn regions, aiding not just veterans but civilians caught in crossfire, personal growth shining as she and Alex welcomed a daughter, naming her after her father, balancing motherhood with mentorship, Sophia taking the reins at Quantico while Elena consulted on policy, her PTSD managed through family anchors and therapy breakthroughs. As years waned, Elena's legacy crystallized in a Hollywood biopic that captured her essence, premiering to standing ovations with the real heroes in attendance, hail toasting, from mock to myth, and in a final poignant scene at her daughter's first shooting lesson, echoing her own beginnings, Elena reflected on the cycle of resilience, proving that heroes aren't born in glory but forged in fire, wrapping this epic of global intrigue and personal triumph in the timeless truth that one sniper's shot can echo through generations. Inspiring a world to aim higher amid the chaos, in the serene twilight of a Virginia farmhouse, where rolling hills cradled the remnants of Elena Reyes's storied career and the laughter of her daughter, little Maria, echoed like a melody of hope amid the rustling leaves. Captain Elena Reyes, now simply Elena, retired yet ever vigilant, tended to her garden, her hands, once steady on a trigger, now nurturing life from soil enriched by years of reflection, but tranquility shattered when a ghost from her past materialized in the form of a encrypted dossier delivered by drone, unveiling a chilling plot. The broker's remnants had reformed under a new leader, Elena's long-lost half-brother, Ramon Vargas, a product of her father's hidden life in Mexico, twisted by abandonment into a vengeful arms trafficker arming cartels with sniper tech that could destabilize borders and ignite continental chaos, forcing Elena to confront not just enemies but blood ties, assembling her trusted circle, Sophia as her right hand, Jenkins for logistics, Alex piloting recon, and Dr. Mia for emotional grounding in a personal odyssey that blurred lines between duty and family. Flashbacks surged as she geared up, memories of Maria's birth, a beacon after battles, Alex's supportive gaze during labor mirroring his aerial covers, but PTSD flares tested her, Mia's sessions delving into buried guilt over lives taken, transforming vulnerability into strategy as Elena traced Ramon's trail to the sun-baked badlands of the U.S. Mexico border, posing as a coyote smuggling migrants to infiltrate his cartel stronghold, her rifle disassembled in a backpack amid the desperate throngs crossing the Rio Grande under moonless skies, Sofia providing drone surveillance from a hidden vantage. Intrigue deepened in the dusty streets of Tijuana, where neon signs flickered like false promises, Elena negotiating with low-level enforcers in smoky cantinas, her Spanish flawless from childhood roots, uncovering Ramon's lair in a fortified hacienda, but capture loomed when a mole betrayed her cover, leading to a brutal interrogation where Ramon revealed their kinship with a DNA report and a sneer, "Sister, you fight for flags that forgot our father, join me, or die like him," stirring buried emotions of paternal loss, flashbacks to San Diego fences and tin cans intermingling with visions of her father's unmarked grave, fueling a daring escape aided by Jenkins's diversionary explosives, freeing captives in the process and turning the tide with a midnight raid. Climax roared in the heart of the Sonoran Desert, Ramon's convoy ambushed under starry expanses, Elena's team executing a pincer maneuver with Alex's chopper providing air support, her sniper shots disabling vehicles as Sofia picked off guards, confronting Ramon atop a rocky mesa in a storm of sand and revelations, his weapon drawn but hesitation in his eyes. "We could have been family," met with Elena's tear-streaked resolve, "family doesn't build empires on blood," disarming him non-lethally. And turning him over to authorities, his confession unraveling the network and exposing corrupt officials on both sides of the border, resolution bloomed in the warmth of reconciliation, Ramon seeking redemption in prison through therapy, Elena visiting to forge fragile bonds, her foundation partnering with border aid groups to support refugees and veterans alike, honors arriving via a UN commendation for humanitarian impact, Maria's innocent questions about Aunt Sophia's adventures inspiring Elena to pen a children's book on courage, balancing retirement with guest lectures where young cadets saluted her legacy, Alex by her side in quiet evenings watching sunsets, her PTSD evolving into wisdom shared globally, as decades whispered by, Elena's influence immortalized in a museum exhibit chronicling women warriors, Hale's hologram toasting at the opening, and in a final, heartwarming loop, Maria, now a teen prodigy in marksmanship, earning her first salute from Elena at a family range day, proving legacies aren't inherited but inspired, wrapping this odyssey of familial shadows and triumphant light in the eternal reminder that even in retirement, a sniper's scope sees not just targets, but the human threads connecting us all, ready to pull the trigger on forgiveness when the world demands justice. In the tranquil embrace of a Mexican coastal villa, where turquoise waves lapped against sun-bleached shores and the air carried the salty tang of redemption mixed with unresolved echoes, Elena Reyes, now a matriarch weaving threads of peace through her expanded phantom foundation, sipped café de olla on a veranda overlooking the Pacific, her daughter Maria, now a vibrant young woman pursuing international relations at Georgetown, video calling with tales of campus activism inspired by her mother's exploits, but serenity fractured when Ramon's prison release coincided with whispers of a resurgent threat, a cyber-savvy syndicate harnessing AI-enhanced sniper bots to orchestrate anonymous hits on world leaders, their digital fingerprints tracing back to remnants of the broker's empire, compelling Elena to emerge from retirement for one last op, not as the trigger but the architect, rallying a global alliance including Sofia as field commander, Jenkins handling tech, Alex on aerial intel, Mia for psyops, and even Ramon as a reluctant informant seeking atonement, blending familial healing with high-tech warfare in a bid to safeguard a fragile world order. Flashbacks cascaded during strategy sessions in a secure DC bunker, memories of Maria's teenage rebellion against Elena's shadowed past, arguments echoing, "Mom, you can't save everyone, live for us," resolved through family therapy where vulnerabilities surfaced like buried ordnance, strengthening bonds as Elena taught Maria self-defense in the farmhouse yard, her lessons evolving from tin cans to digital ethics, preparing the next generation for battles unseen. The mission ignited in the neon chaos of Tokyo's Akihabara district, Elena undercover as a tech consultant at a robotics expo, her team hacking into prototype demos to plant trackers on AI sniper units, Sophia sniping data servers from a skyscraper perch while Jenkins neutralized firewalls, but escalation hit when the syndicate's leader, an enigmatic AI prodigy named Akira Voss, a hybrid of human cunning and machine precision, detected the intrusion, unleashing drone swarms that turned Shibuya Crossing into a battlefield of laser-guided pursuits, Elena evading through crowded subways with Ramon's insider codes cracking Voss's defenses, flashbacks to border ambushes fueling her adaptability, tension peaked in the frozen expanses of Siberia, Voss's Arctic lair a fortress of quantum servers powering global assassinations, Elena's alliance launching a multi-pronged assault with Alex's stealth flights dropping paratroopers, Sophia and Jenkins breaching perimeters amid blizzards, Elena confronting Voss in a holographic chamber where virtual snipers materialized, his taunt, "You're obsolete, phantom machines don't bleed," countered by her fusion of human intuition and Ramon's redeemed hacks, overriding the AI core in a pulse-racing duel of wits and willpower, dismantling the network as international forces converged, saving a UN summit from catastrophe. Resolution dawned in the glow of victory, Elena brokering Ramon's full pardon for his pivotal role, family reunions in Mexico where half-siblings forged genuine ties over shared stories of their father's flaws, her foundation launching AI ethics programs worldwide, honors culminating in a Nobel Peace Prize nomination, Maria interning at the UN with pride, Elena and Alex renewing vows on the beach. Her PTSD transcended into advocacy keynotes where she declared, "The future isn't in the scope, it's in the souls we protect." As Twilight years unfolded, Elena's saga immortalized in virtual reality simulations training elite forces, Hale's spirit evoked in holograms saluting her enduring impact, and in a tender full circle, Maria, now a diplomat, faced her first crisis negotiation, calling Elena for advice that echoed across generations, resolve over rank, media, proving that legends don't fade but evolve, wrapping this finale of technological tempests and heartfelt horizons in the profound truth that one woman's unyielding aim can redirect the trajectory of humanity, from mocked beginnings to a legacy that salutes the unbreakable spirit within us all. In the tranquil embrace of a Mexican coastal villa, where turquoise waves lapped against sun-bleached shores and the air carried the salty tang of redemption mixed with unresolved echoes, Elena Reyes, now a matriarch weaving threads of peace through her expanded phantom foundation, sipped café de olla on a veranda overlooking the Pacific. Her daughter Maria, now a vibrant young woman pursuing international relations at Georgetown, video calling with tales of campus activism inspired by her mother's exploits, but serenity fractured when Ramon's prison release coincided with whispers of a resurgent threat, a cyber-savvy syndicate harnessing